Hey guys. So, what I want to tell you about is my experience this weekend at the Unleash the Power Within with Tony Robbins in LA. Yes, I actually walked on crossfire. Coals that were heated up to almost 2,200 degrees, I think is what they told us. And I'm going to be honest with you, I knew what this was going to happen. I knew going to this conference, this is part of the whole conference. It kind of assimilates the metaphor of fear and overcoming your fears. So I knew it was coming. And I can tell you, I wasn't really that freaked out about it. I kind of, already knew it was happening. I've had friends that have done it. I know like millions of people have gone through it. Oprah's even done it. She went to one of his conferences. So I can tell you I wasn't too scared. A lot of other people were really nervous, and I was kind of like, no big deal, blah, blah, blah. And normally something like this would scare me, but I think I just had that experience. That was what was going in for me. And, leading up to this, there is a lot of prep, mindset work with Tony. He gives you a whole rundown of the pace you're supposed to keep with your steps, the how you're supposed to walk, what you're supposed to say in your mind, where you're supposed to look, just to kind of keep you in a certain state of mind moving forward. And so, real quick disclaimer right here, anyone that sees this video, don't try to reenact this somewhere. Don't try to build a bonfire and think you're going to do it too. You could really get hurt. There's a lot of safety precautions that go into effect for one of these. I'll have information below if you want to go to a conference and try it yourself, but for whatever reasons, do not try something like this with your friends and do something stupid and really get hurt. But as the night wore on and we get closer and closer to the firewalk, I will have to say I kind of got a little nervous, especially when Tony was saying something, don't worry about your nail polish catching on fire either, no big deal. And I'm thinking, oh man, I just got my Halloween nail flare on. Don't tell me that's going to catch on fire. That can't happen, right? And so it kind of started to get real. And when I went outside, you're with, there's 10,000 people there. There are like 35 lanes of fire. You step up and you're kind of keeping everyone's clapping, kind of keeping pace so that you kind of keep a certain cadence with your steps. And I have to be honest, I didn't really get scared until I got about 3 people in front of me and I see them freshening the coals with like people there with full on gear, big gloves, and shoveling hot coals and kicking them in, and you see all this kind of like sparks coming up. I would say my heart started to be a little faster about right then, and I was like, I'm going to keep going, I can do this. And I'm going to be honest, I really thought going into this, I'm not going to feel anything. I'm probably just going to walk across. You probably don't feel anything. You're probably so psyched up that you just don't feel anything. And there was a girl working there. She's part of the volunteer crew. And I was kind of looking in her eyes because I was like, the more I don't look at that down there, what I'm about to do, the easier it'll be, right? And I kept just kind of looking at her and looking at her. And then they kind of tell you, step up on the grass, like, hey, that's your turn to go, is what that means. Like, they tell you these cues that they're going to say to you so you know when to go. And then the next thing you know, I just went and I took a step. And when I remember one of my feet hitting and I was thinking, shit, that's hot. And that's it. That's all I remember. The next thing I remember are 2 people grabbing me, telling me to wait, so you can wipe your feet off, and then they hose your feet down afterwards, and then they celebrate with you, and you kind of don't know what the heck just happened here. But it was funny because I didn't expect to feel anything. And my left foot got burned. I got burned. I had some blisters when I got home from the event. I was starting to freak out a little bit, like, oh my gosh, what if this really starts to get worse and I can't go on with the conference? And I was like, you know what? It's going to be fine. Just go to bed. It's going to be fine in the morning. I put a little bit of ice on it, before I went to bed and went to sleep. And the next morning, I had blisters, but absolutely no pain. And no pain the rest of the weekend. And, when I got back to the conference the next day, I was chatting with some of the other attendees and asking them their experience. And some people got burn on both feet. Some people didn't feel a thing. Their feet were completely untouched. And what they say is this is all about a state of mind that you're in. Like, it's possible that I only had one foot that got burned, that just maybe I got out of state for a minute, but back in right away once it started happening. But really, what the takeaway of this whole experience was for me, and what I think that you can take out into your life and apply it, is that this really just assimilates the metaphor of fear for us. There's always things in front of us that we know we need to do, an action step we need to take, and we're just scared. We're just scared to take that first step. And for whatever reasons, because we're afraid of, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of like, what if I look stupid? What if someone stops loving me because I do X? We have all these fears, and we're all the same. We all have them. But really what I learned with this whole thing is that once you decide I'm going to take the step, there's no stopping you. It's after that momentum takes over and you're going one foot after the next, and you just keep going, and you trust yourself to know that I'll deal with whatever happened. Even for me, what I learned is by taking a step, I got burned. I experienced some pain from it. But guess what? Life went on. I kept going. And I think that's something we all need to learn, is that even when we might experience a little pain because of a decision we make, whether it be emotional pain, physical pain, we can choose to keep going and keep pushing through to get to what we really want, in which at the end of the firewalk, what you really want is just to be done, right? You just want to get over there to the people that are helping you and be done. But what it showed me was that even with physical pain, I kept going. It didn't stop me. So what I can tell you is that if there's a decision right now that maybe you're a little bit afraid to take, something's holding you back, just decide to step up and face it and take that first step, because after that first step, you'll find you keep going. Nothing stops you at that point. You just got to keep going, one foot in front of the other until you get done. So I have some pictures below, and I'll have a little more info, but wanted to just tell you what my experience was like on camera so you could maybe be in the moment a little bit with me. But it was a great experience. I'd totally do it again, even though I got burned. I'll have a picture of my foot down below just so you can see what it looked like. It's not that bad. Lots of people experienced what I experienced. Some people experienced no burns, no blisters at all, walked the same hot coals. So it's very interesting. I mean, it's a very kind of cool thing. And from talking to people who've done it more than once, sometimes their experience of the firewalk is different every time. So, but really what it just shows you is that if you can walk on fire and a crossfire, you can do anything. You put your mind to it. You just have to take that first step. So if there's anything that you're holding back, just get out there and take that first step, because you can do it and you can keep going. Okay? Thanks.